Good afternoon, this is Sean Golding with Golding & Golding, here to discuss the basics of how long is that IRS audit that you're in is going to take, when is it going to complete, and is there anything you could do to speed up the process, right? Let's start from the beginning. How long it takes the IRS audit to complete depends on various different factors, right? Let's say you go in there, you started your own consulting business, so you have a Schedule C, maybe you've got some more deductions than prior years, and the agent, they're not used to it, so you get dinged with an audit. But you know what? You've got that information. You've got it available. You're super organized, so you're able to give them everything they ask for in the IDR, which is the information document request. Agent goes, great. And that's the end of it. That audit can normally be done within 3 months. Of course, generally, it's not that simple. What in life is really that simple? The main factors to consider is if it's simple or if it's complex. How many years are at audit? For example, are you only being audited for 1 year, or are you being audited for 3 years or even more? Generally the IRS has 3 years, sometimes they get 6, and if they think you committed tax fraud, civil, it could go on infinitely. And then the other question is whether the initial audit has been expanded. Let's say you go in for business, let's use the initial example, right? You go in, you've got these deductions, great. And then you're looking at the information document request, you've got all your ducks in a row, and it says, oh, do you have any foreign accounts, right? Maybe you didn't file the FBAR, you marked yes because you opened up an account overseas because you needed some local currency. The agent sees that and goes, oh, well, I don't see there's an 8938 on file. I don't see an FBAR on file. I don't see Schedule B. And so that could expand the audit. So while the audit initially could have been done relatively quickly because of responses that you provided, now the audit's going to take longer to complete. Let's go through some of the common types of complex audits. Now, with our experience, and we've handled who knows how many at this point, but complex audits typically take 6 to 24 months. It takes some time to get into the file. Agent has to be careful if there's specific information that requires confirmation, like if you've got foreign tax credits, that agent wants to be sure you actually paid them if they're over $50,000 especially, and things like that. So here are some of the more common complex IRS audits. One is foreign income and accounts. It's basically 95% of what we do here is offshore disclosure, and we can tell you the IRS has really taken taxpayers to task on this issue. So if the IRS thinks there's any unreported foreign income, pension issues, foreign life insurance, reporting accounts, things of that nature, investments, PFICs, all that kind of fun stuff, right? It could take the IRS agent. A lot of IRS agents don't have that kind of experience. They don't see that many international cases, so it can take an extended amount of time in order for them to complete what otherwise would seem like a pretty straightforward one. Business-related issues, employment taxes, all that that normally takes a while. Generally, if you're in a business audit and the IRS wants to see records of all the transactions, you may have banking at different banks. Maybe there's some concern about whether you've done the transactions properly. They want to see balance sheets. They want to see profit and loss statements sometimes, things like that, to justify what you've included on the 1120, on your Schedule C, things like that. Of course, if there's ever civil tax fraud or other penalties at issue, it will expand the audit because no IRS agent wants to leave that stone unturned if they think that the taxpayer committed some form of civil fraud, substantial underreporting, things of that nature. Those typically take a long time to complete, and that leads me to the next phase, which are concerns that may expand the audit. And when civil fraud is involved, for example, you have to be very careful of the eggshell and reverse eggshell audit. Fun names, but they're very serious. We've got other presentations and articles. Eggshell audit is generally taxpayers got some information, doesn't want to provide it to the agent because it may be self-incriminating. On the one hand, the taxpayer is not required to self-incriminate. On the other hand, they can intentionally misrepresent or omit. They have to be very careful how they maneuver through the audit. On the flip side, even more dangerous is the reverse eggshell audit, where the IRS agents got the information already. And then the question becomes, is the taxpayer going to be truthful? Maybe they have, maybe under factor reporting, the agent's already got information that the taxpayer has these foreign accounts. Taxpayer didn't fill out an 8938. So maybe during the audit, the agent, asks, hey, do you have foreign accounts? The taxpayer's like, no. That's a few times now, right? It wasn't included in the tax return, and now the taxpayer is doubling down and indicating under penalty of perjury that they don't have foreign accounts, let's say, and so that could lead to some serious issues. If there's a potential criminal investigation, that will initially complete the audit faster, but what's actually really happening is the case is being prepped for a special agent investigation. If the IRS agent conducting the audit thinks the taxpayer may have committed a crime, they can't ask questions about that. They don't have the authority. So in order to pursue it, the agent's got to shut down the audit. It doesn't tell that. It's not like the agent's going to be like, hey, I got to cut this audit short because I'm going to refer it over to the special agents. It ends. Taxpayer thinks they're one up on the agent, and then they're visited by two special agents 6 months down the line. Get an attorney if you're in that situation. And of course, if there's some post-audit stuff, that will complete the time to complete the audit, because technically the audit won't complete, or at least the findings won't be accepted, right? There's audit reconsiderations, appeals, collection appeal procedures, collection due process hearings, tax court, federal court, depending on the situation, all that fun stuff. If you think you're out of compliance and you think you may become subject to an audit because you haven't filed certain offshore accounts and things like that, income-related matters, there's programs you can do to get into compliance and try to avoid that. There's voluntary disclosure if you were willful, or you just can't certify under penalty of perjury that you're non-willful. Streamlined procedures, reasonable cause, and delinquency if you're non-willful. We have lots of free information available on our websites. You can always reach out and schedule a reduced fee initial consultation if you think it's appropriate. Again, my name is Sean Golding with Golding & Golding. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.